Hello and welcome to my monthly roundup of BFI releases, and let me start by congratulating BFI on winning Best Single Film Release for their Blu-ray DVD release of Mädchen in Uniform at 2 Cinema Ritrovato. The jury were highly complimentary, and it's a credit to the hard-working team at BFI that put this release together. It's certainly now pride of place in my collection. On we go with this month's releases, and we start with Sidney Lumet's 1964 film The Pawnbroker, starring Rod Steiger, Geraldine Fitzgerald, Brock Peters, Jamie Sanchez and Morgan Freeman, would you believe, in his feature film debut, an uncredited role. Rod Steiger stars as Saul Nazerman, a German Jewish university professor who's sent to a concentration camp and sees his family die at the hands of the Nazi oppressors. He has learnt to hide his emotions and treats his customers in his shop with disregard, usually cheating them out of the true worth of their precious items they are forced to sell through personal circumstances. Then a young Puerto Rican man, Jesus Orti, played by Jamie Sanchez, starts working in the shop as an assistant and begins to idolise him, and this is where things start to unwind for Saul. The film was first produced entirely in the US to deal with the Holocaust from the viewpoint of a survivor. It earned international acclaim for Steiger, launching his career as an A-list actor. It was among the first American film to feature a homosexual character as well. Lumet wanted to tell the story of a Holocaust survivor, and of course what elevates it above the norm is Rod Steiger's excellent performance. He embodies the character of Saul totally, and this performance earned him a nomination for Best Actor in both the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and the next year it was the UK BAFTAs that he was finally rewarded with the award of Best Foreign Actor in a Leading Role. This remains one of Lumet's most distinguished works in a long film career. The music score for The Pawnbroker was composed by young Quincy Jones, and its fine mix of jazz, bossa nova, soul and vocals still makes it one of his best. He was to score a later Steiger film, In the Heat of the Night, produced by Norman Jewison later in that decade. Directors Stanley Kubrick, Carol Rice and Franco Zeffirelli all turned down the project. Kubrick said he thought Steiger was not all that exciting. Rice, whose parents were murdered in the Holocaust, said that for deep personal reasons he couldn't associate himself with any subject which is a background of concentration camps. Zeffirelli, then a stage director, was anxious to direct the film but said that The Pawnbroker was not the kind of subject he would wish to direct, certainly not as his first Anglo-American venture. Lumet, who took over the film after Arthur Hiller was fired, certainly had enough of directors, also had misgivings about Steiger being cast in the lead role. He felt that Steiger was a rather tasteless actor, awfully talented but completely tasteless in his choices. Lumet preferred James Mason in the title role, and the comedian Groucho Marx was also among the performers who had also wanted to play Nazerman. However, Steiger pleasantly surprised Lumet when he agreed with him during rehearsals on the repression of the character's feelings. Now, the extras on the disc include a newly recorded audio commentary by Maura Spiegel, author of Sidney Lumet, A Life and Annette Insdorf, author of Indelible Shadows, Film and Holocaust. Guardian interview with Rod Steiger, lasting 113 minutes, audio only, where he discusses his career and talks candidly about his mental health issues in the interview with the film critic Tom Hutchinson. Recorded at the BFI's NFT following a screening of The Pawnbroker. Now and Then, Quincy Jones, a 20-minute documentary of the legendary producer, musician, songwriter and composer who's interviewed by Bernard Braden for his never-broadcast series, Now and Then. 10 Bob in Winter, a short from 1963 and one of the most notable shorts to come out of the BFI Experimental Film Fund. It's an early classic of black British cinema about the intriguing social dynamics that arise as a 10-shilling note is passed around the black community. There's a trailer on the disc for The Pawnbroker and a picture gallery, and on the first pressing only, of course, an illustrated booklet including a new writing on the film by filmmaker and film historian Jim Hempel, an essay on Quincy Jones by Nicholas Pillai, and a Sidney Lumet biography by Maura Spiegel. And I certainly recommend The Pawnbroker for your collection, especially for Steiger's excellent performance. It's available on Monday the 16th of August in dual format. Now, if you were a child in between the 50s and the 80s and went to the cinema, especially on a Saturday, for the matinee, you would certainly have seen Children's Film Foundation presentations as part of the programme. They were a staple diet for kids' cinema back then, and BFI released the Bumper Box Collection of CFF films, Volume 3 this month. The Children's Film Foundation produced quality entertainment for young audiences employing the cream of British filmmaking talent. Unavailable for years, these much-loved films finally make a welcome return to our screens. The Bumper Box Collection Volume 3 includes the following Children's Film Foundation adventures. The Clue of the Missing Ape from 1953. Adventure in the Hop Fields, 1954. Tim Driscoll's Donkey, 1955. Runaway Railway, 1965. Calamity the Cow, 1967. Cry Wolf, 1968. Big Wheels and Sailor, 1979, Breakout, 1984, and Our Exploits at West Poley, 1985. As always, the films feature a plethora of familiar faces, including George Cole, Melvin Hayes, John Mulder Brown, Ronnie Barker, Sheila Reid, Brenda Fricker, and of course, last but not least, the one and only Phil Collins. There are also extras on the set. Watch Out from 53, 18 minutes long. That's an Order from 54, 18 minutes again. Playground Express, 16 minutes from 1954. Our Magazine number 2 from 1952, finding out what kids had to do for fun before the internet was invented. Before Its Time, The Battle of Billy's Pond. That's this year, 13 minutes, and luminous Harley Cokeless revisits his eco-aware film for the Foundation. And there's an illustrated booklet with the new writing on the films by the BFI's Vic Pratt. This set, on DVD, is the third in the series, and it's released on Monday, the 16th of August. Now, another DVD hitting the shops and online retailers this month, Great Noises That Fill the Air, from the streets of Brixton and Manchester, via leafy suburbs, junkyards, punk venues and inner city community centres. This carefully curated selection documents and showcases an eclectic mix of music, poetry and spoken word performance in a collection of film and video works made between 1978 and 1996 and rarely seen since. By turns poetic and impressionistic, personal and experimental, these bold works all highlight the potential of documentary to challenge, celebrate, excite, fight and inspire. On disc 1 we have Dread, Beat and Blood, Franco Rosso, 1979. Steve Reich, A New Musical Language, Margaret Williams, 1987. Elizabeth Monconche, 1984, by Margaret Williams again. Strong Culture, Smita Mauld, 1995. Bristol Vibes, Rupert Gabriel, 1996. Clocks of the Midnight Hours, Simon Rennell, 1988. Great Noises That Fill the Air, Beau Gamelin Ensemble, by Simon Rennell, 1988. And on disc 2 we have 10 Years in an Open-Necked Shirt, Nick May, 1984. Celebration, Pauline Bailey, 1995. Cornelius Cardew from 1936 to 1981, Philippe Regnier, 1986. Steel and Skin from Steve Shaw, 1979. Chutney and Yusoka, Karen Martinez, 1996. Music in Progress, Mike Westbrook, jazz composer Charles Mapleston, 1978. Now the set also includes an extensive booklet with new writings on the films by Rodney Wilson, Linton Kwesi Johnson, Ron Stoneman, Francis Morgan, Smita Mauld, Rupert Gabriel, Simon Rennell, Anne Bean, Nick May, Pauline Bailey, Luke Fowler, Steve Shaw, Kaleem Aptav, Karen Martinez and Johnny Trunk. Great Noises That Fill the Air is released on Monday, the 16th of August, on DVD only. Out on the following week, on Monday the 23rd of August, we have a new film directed by Aleem Khan called Afterlove. It stars Joanna Scanlon, very popular from television, as Miri Hussein, who is grappling with the unexpected death of her husband Nassar Mesmarzia. She is tidying his effects in their Dover home when she stumbles upon a secret connection he had across the channel in Calais, France. Armed with just a bag and his cell phone, she sets off to uncover the truth and makes a discovery along the way. Beautifully directed by Alim Khan and abetted by sensitive performances from Joanna Scanlon, Natalie Richard and the impressive youngster in it, Talid Aris, this is a drama of real insight about two women living just 20 miles apart, who are separated by cultural differences and yet share a connection. A remarkable debut film whose delicate tenderness is a testament to the quality of its writing and performances. By the close, you will feel you truly know these people. This film was produced in 2020 and has already won awards, including the Cannes Foundation Award for Distribution at the Cannes Film Festival. Joanna Scanlon won Best Actress both at the Thessaloniki and Dublin Film Festivals this year, and the film was named Best International Film with an award given to Alim, the director, at the Modalist International Film Festival. Alim Khan himself studied film direction at the University of Westminster before shooting his award-winning debut short called Diana. Alim's third short film, Three Brothers, was commissioned by the BFI and Film London on the inaugural London Calling Plus scheme. The film premiered at the BFI London Film Festival and toured the international festival circuit before receiving a BAFTA nomination for Best British Short Film in 2015. Later the year, Alim was named one of the Screen International Stars of Tomorrow. Alim's also the recipient of the John Brabourne Award and is an alumnus of several industry development programmes, including the Locarno Filmmakers Academy, Save Our Scripts, BFI Flair, NetDoc Work and the 8th edition of Guiding Lights. After Love was jointly produced by the BBC Films and the BFI themselves. Extras on the disc include After Love, a Q&A made this year with director Alim Khan and actors Joanna Scanlon and Natalie Richard talking to Isra Al-Kassi for BFI at Home. It was recorded this year remotely. Three Brothers from 2014. Hamid struggles to care for his younger brothers when their father abandons him for Pakistan. It's a short allegorical drama about dealing with grief and responsibility. There's an original theatrical trailer, teaser trailer and a fully illustrated booklet featuring the director's statement, essays by Sonaima Manzour Khan and Isra Al-Kassi, notes on the film by producer Mathieu de Brassonnier, and an interview with Alim Khan himself. Well, for one, I am certainly intrigued by this release, and it comes out on Monday, August the 23rd. Finally, we look at a classic, Jean Renoir's film The River, from 1951. BFI bring us a UK release of this sumptuous Technicolor spectacle from the great director. His intoxicating first colour feature, shot entirely on location in India, is a lyrical adaptation of Rumer Godden's autobiographical coming-of-age tale of an adolescent girl living with her English family on the banks of West Bengal during the waning years of British colonial life. It's exquisitely shot in luminous Technicolor by Renoir's nephew Claude. The River is a visual tour de force and a glorious meditative tribute to the sights and sounds of Indian culture. Perhaps Renoir's most symbolic and spiritual film as well, displaying great humanity and refreshing simplicity. The River received tremendous international acclaim and remains one of his most popular films to date. Harriet, played by Patricia Walters, belongs to an upper-middle-class English family residing on the banks of the Ganges River in India. Her father, played by Esmond Knight, runs a jute mill, and she's four sisters. Her only brother, Richard R. Foster, somewhat 10 years her junior, wants to learn how to tame cobras with a flute. Although they are raised in a genteel English setting and even have the benefit of a live-in nanny, if there ever could be a compromise between Christianity and Hinduism, they are immersed in it. However, all find that their lives are shaken up considerably after Harriet's brother is involved in a tragedy. Shot in Technicolor, a 5-month turnaround at the lab meant things had to be done right the very first time. While filming, Renoir made use of non-professional actors in key roles, including Captain John and Harriet. The future Indian filmmaker Satyajit Ray, then working in advertising, met Renoir while The River was in production, and the two men became firm friends. Ray met Subrata Mitra, a production assistant on this film, and Ray's eventual cinematographer during filming. At the Venice Film Festival, the film won the International Award in 1951. The National Board of Review in the United States decided that it was among the top 5 foreign films for that year. The River was also chosen for preservation by the Academy Film Archive in conjunction with the British Film Institute in 2004. This 2-disc limited edition release contains substantial extras. Introduction to the River by Indian filmmaker Kumar Shahani. Around the River from 2008, Arno Madragrang's documentary about the making of the river. India, Matribhumi. Several stories depicting the landscapes and fauna of India are mixed with documentary footage. Around India with a movie camera. Villeneuve, French India, territory of Pondicherry, 1914. Manufacturing ropes and marine cables at Howrah, near Calcutta, 1909. There's a trailer for the film, an image gallery and a reversible sleeve offering a choice of original posters. And of course, as always, on the first pressing only, an illustrated booklet including new writing on the film as well as previously published archival material. So there we have it. That's the August release rostra, and as you can see, it's a busy month. Now we'll be back next month, which is a wee bit quieter, with 2 releases announced so far from BFI. The Best of British Transport Films, Volume 2, and we see the crew of Shot Down Palmer try to navigate their way to safety in Powell and Pressburger's suspenseful wartime drama, One of Our Aircraft is Missing. Both of those titles come to Blu-ray and BFI in September. So it only remains for me to say I'll see you again next month and keep watching those great movies.